Hello everybody, I'm back with the Jagged 2 version 1.13 report on some of the findings I managed to make in researching and sifting through different revisions and whatnot, getting to the bottom of the bug that I found. Unfortunately, I found in the Dress and Mines. Short summary of what I experienced was that if the mercs are on the roof in this particular sector, they cannot be hurt by anything, much less let alone targeted. They cannot be hurt by any small arms fire. And in the event of counterattack, I was able to just waltz in, get onto the top of the roof of the pub, and just waited more or less until the enemies ran out of bullets and proceeded to mop the floor. Now that's a pretty good victory, but rather tainted victory, so always had, on the back of my mind that something was wrong, so I wanted to recreate the situation, which is what I did in the last video. And the problem, as you can see, is very stark. There really cannot be any question whether this is a bug or not. 30 guys trying to shoot at me cannot make one single shot count. So I posted a video, got some suggestions, and now I'm going to uncharted territories by enabling the cheat and trying to recreate the situation in other sectors, as Klaus suggested, to see whether this save itself is corrupted, or there can be different avenues, so to speak, where any one part of this game can be corrupted. It could be a corruption due to the downloaded SCI files, maybe because I was moving around from SSDs to hard drive or something, or the save got corrupted, some kind of power failure. I don't know.
We are in territory occupied by our enemies. I salivate in
So I'm going into this area where it is appreciably, filled with more dangerous enemies that are able to target us with pinpoint accuracy with lethal weapons, to see whether being on the roof in that sector is going to produce the same bug. And then if we are able to recreate that situation, then obviously the game is borked, and I have to probably go back to the beginning of the game and maybe scrub the hard drive clean or something and reinstall the game in order to, if I want to, if I am up to it, start the LP once again. But yeah, let's just see what happens here, whether these guys will be able to be targeted in this sector with freaking tank trying to target us. And first thing, yeah, I see that some of these guys from some unknown location is able to target us with their automatic weapons. There are no other enemies on the roof as far as I can see. And this is me sighing a breath of relief as I say, well, I guess there's really no problem here. The roof is not really a safe haven for these guys anymore.
It's simply a question of
and
time.
I try once again to see whether I can go to a different sector where it is also filled with enemies. I don't know exactly what sector it is, what town it is, but it is being dominated by this first floor building. I don't know what purpose it is being used, but I probably know in the coming episodes, perhaps, if I am successful enough to continue. So I want to see whether I can target any enemy on top of the roof. I can reverse the situation and not be affected by the same problem. And you can see Klaus probably chose this sector because this is one huge roof and there must be some enemies on top of it. And there is one right there on the edge, perfect for us to experiment whether we can be on the other side of the table, turn the table so to speak, and then try to shoot at this guy. And if there's a bug here, this guy will not be hurt. I miss, and I get shot right back. It's not a really good, reliable way of testing it because he's too far in order to aim. And make the same mistake by placing this guy too far for it to really matter with his automatic weapons. So I need to place these guys, the rest of the guys, a bit close in order to really test it out. here I do that with MD. And I graze him, so it is inconclusive, but I was able to hit him very closely, whereas in Dress and Mines, any enemy within this range is not able to make any kind of hit. So it's a really good start, promising start.
Ammunition urgently.
And mouse misses. Yeah, so I need to bring in goggles to see really whether I can make good observation based on his better marksmanship skills. And he's able to hit, yeah, so without any problem. This guy's armored, so the amount of damage is rather low, but he's able to hit. And I can verify that the bug, as can be seen in the Dress and Mine, doesn't exist in this particular sector.
You got my ear.
Doesn't really hit, but it is close enough so that the enemy makes a snide comment. And Ira is able to shoot him down.
You got my ear.
So this is basically a problem that seems to be isolated in the Dress and Mine. Yeah, this is in fact something that I can repeat in this particular sector. I go back to Dress and Mine once again, and as you can see, there's a stark difference. Yep, just letting it play out.
Yes.
Before I come back with
Now?
different way of testing, rule out certain stuff about this game
Territory.
and the mod.
Yes.
Here is the new save with a new team going to the same sector
We got a confirmed enemy presence.
to see whether it was a save that was corrupted that was causing all this problem. So I created the new group, and I think went to the trouble of getting different guys.
Are you ready?
Wanted to rule out whether certain characters are more susceptible to this kind of bug than others. So I created a new team composed of entirely new characters.
Mayday! Mayday!
They're very funny.
Yeah.
And Meltdown. Yeah, Meltdown is able to use 2 weapons. Somebody that I'm maybe very interested in recruiting in the main LP down the road.
Standing by.
Once again, you can see that even with the new team and a new save, I mean,
Standing by.
they're not really being hit by a hail of bullets, but still it seems like they really do not get hit. Yeah,
Standing
it doesn't
by.
even graze them, or it doesn't even trouble them. They don't duck or anything. They don't mention that it was close.
Standing by. Standing by.
Yeah.
Another lamb.
Yeah.
Now here is a different sector. I'm trying out in the center sector in Dresden.
Yeah.
And you can see that the enemy is able to hit us, at least graze us at every shot. So I put more enemies, including the jeep right there, some kind of combat jeep that is able to target us with machine gun. Will surely wipe us out on the ground, but we are on the roof.
See. Yes.
Yo!
In this test, I try a different thing. I try to, you know, after confirming that the bug is still there, I try to confirm whether we can shoot up ourselves at a character that is on the roof, at an enemy that is on the roof. Whether we can reverse the situation and be faced with the same kind of problem. As you can see, even for the enemy, if they're on the roof, they are impervious. They will be able to evade at every turn. The very close shots we will make, basically, in normal circumstances.
Yo!
Yes.
So under the new team,
See?
And now they're trying to shoot up at this guy at close range. And you can see the amount of accuracy they're shooting with, but obviously they miss all the time. Seeing that this is a bug that affects not only us but also the enemy.
Yes.
If things are reversed.
See?
Still is the same revision, 8633. And I go back to the options to try different things, trying to tweak some graphical and gameplay settings.
See?
Still no dice. And I have to hear all that snide smack that the enemy makes while has no problem gunning us down.
See?
Once again, go back to options to try different things out, tweak different settings, like turning on alternate bullet graphics, whether that makes any difference. And I think also showing the misses. Yeah, right there, show misses. To try to see whether I can visually identify where the bullets that were missing ended up, where they ended up, but I really can't visually see where they are after they have missed, because I guess they're shooting upward into the sky or something. Or the bullets just disappear. Yeah, so...
Yo!
And by now, I kind of think that this revision might be the problem. This particular revision.
They shall wish they had killed me.
No good.
Now I try to show that on the ground, I am able to reliably make the shot with the same kind of accuracy.
Sounds like something's moving.
See?
I'm shooting this guy at close range
This no good.
with
More
the same kind of
bullets.
accuracy, and he's able to reliably make the shot.
How?
On the ground is no problem.
It will be difficult to hit from here.
Yes. Damn it. Gelito.
Maybe I should say something. Basically going to a different revision, I think. Yeah. So this is a revision 7609 GOG, same GOG base game installation. So I reinstalled the game, or to a different new directory, and installed the last so-called stable release.
Yes.
7609. It was actually 7435, but there was update that I can apply to 7609, and it doesn't really matter because, as you can see, even in this old revision,
Yes.
they cannot shoot and target our guys on the roof.
Yo!
It really doesn't matter.
Got the inside track on the losers here.
So no new problem has been reintroduced between this revision and the more or less current revision that I'm using right now. I'm starting to think that the mod is not the problem.
Vinsta's got one.
So I reinstalled the game once again without the mod, just going to bare minimums GOG original. And Grunt here is now being met with storm of bullets and remaining unscathed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the problem remains. The bug for the dress in mind remains. I don't know. I'm losing my mind right now. What to try next in order to get to the bottom of this problem. Or whether this might be due to the design or maybe the compatibility fixes that GOG did. So I obviously go to a different means of acquiring the game. Not pirating it, but going to Steam, seeing on Steam that this game is, along with the classic DLC, on sale for $250, so I buy it. Try it out to see whether the version 1.03 is able to save me from this bug. So, I mean, this is night, but everybody's standing up on the top of the pub, and I think it's kind of lighted, right? So, and this yellow shirt guy, I mean, he's not really accurate, armed with a pistol only, but I'm standing up on the top of the roof, and this guy shoots at almost point blank distance. Not able to hit me time and time again. Yeah, this is rather discouraging. I'm beginning to think that maybe this is a feature that has been programmed into the game. And I'm going to the file system to see what similar files, if any, I can find between all these different game installations. And I find a few that could lead me to try a different testing. What I managed to do is that I found some DLLs that were derived from Wine 3D that was supposed to make the game run faster, and as you can see, I deleted the DLLs from the stable version 1.13, and you can see the game runs rather slow. And some of the shots landed on the intended target. Once again, it landed. I'm seeing the light here right now. I'm seeing the light, trying to decide whether I should continue on with no DLLs on this particular revision to see whether this is actually a viable way of playing the game in this, kind of stuttery mess it is in. But as you can see, as more and more guys are encroaching upon this space, they're missing more than they make the shot, so I have to conclude that the bug is still there even with the absence of DLLs. And I think DLLs really do not really change the game, game mechanics. I really don't know anything about the file systems that the game uses. I'm really not really a programmer or anything like that. Most of the times it doesn't work, but at least I was able to rule some of the things I suspected out. So no DLLs making a difference. Here I'm sorry about the video quality, I have to use the phone to record this, but I'm using a different OS to try to see whether it was the Windows 10 problem that was related to the incompatibility that led to the uses of DLL files. I don't know, it's just so crazy, I don't know how to explain it, but I try to see whether the different OS is going to make a difference. It doesn't. And it is rather interesting to see Windows Vista 32-bit is able to run the game pretty well on an old AMD system with only 4 gigs of RAM. But yeah, of course this is an old game, so it is able to run really fast. Even in that installation, no dice, the game still showed the same kind of bug, so I'm now trying to see whether the difficulty is going to make any difference with the new targeting system, NCTH. And this is insane difficulty, so I jacked it up just to maximize the difference if there's one.
Yes?
And they basically throw the kitchen sink in order to kill us.
Yes?
And I think in insane difficulty there's definitely some difference that I noticed. Even though these guys who are rather close to the
hearing weird noises, yeah.
close to where we are basically missing, just like it was on experience difficulty. But as you've seen, Bronte died just right away as I said it, because these guys using the automatic weapons shooting afar is able to reliably shoot at the target and making the shot. So NCTH, I think, emphasizes the effectiveness of automatic weapons, and if it is shot by a black shirted guy, for example, with a pretty good marksmanship, he's able to, yeah, reliably kill us at will, even if we are on the roof. So going by that, I'm trying the expert difficulty, going down a level to see whether... I think this is probably the difficulty level most people interested in this game are playing. So whether this bug is going to make any, appreciable difference in the result. Whether we are still be able to withstand some of the attacks. And you can see right away that the MD is dead, so you can see right away that the automatic weapons in this particular difficulty level is going to not really make a difference in the end result, because we're going to be wiped out, even though the bug is still there. So I think, since this is not a good way of, trying to attack this sector, let alone defend the counterattack or even take over from the counterattack, I don't think many people would have used this particular tactic, being on the roof. They probably were on the ground trying to fight it out. So I don't think they would have seen many of this most of what is now being displayed in this situation. Yeah, right there. Yeah, once again, the black shirted guys are able to use... I think it was even red shirt guys. I was able to shoot down another one of my guys using the automatic weapons. So, encouraged by the result, I am using the NCTH here, using the experience difficulty. This is a difficulty setting that I'm using right now in this LP, to see whether it is any different, whether the automatic weapons is going to more reliably hit when fired from a distance, dissuading me from using the roof as the sole way of defeating these guys.
You got my ear.
Here.
And NCTH cursors are rather different. I need to learn this, but I am able to use it without any particular problem. I think definitely more self-explanatory, shows more information. Yeah, so the expert and the insane level difficulty, even with the bug, really doesn't make any difference. You're going to die either way. Because even though these guys shooting at shorter distance, and Alloy just died. Yeah, so automatic weapons, I think it was not even an automatic weapon, it was just a shot from a black shirted soldier that killed Alloy. Right away, he's making a lot of difference, and Ira got hurt too, so yeah, NCTH I think is a way to go if you want to eliminating the effects of the bug. Like I said, expert and insane level difficulty doesn't make any difference, because you get hit even though the bug is going to prevent any guys approaching you, not be able to hurt you. The guys are going to shoot anyways afar because of the increased range or marksmanship. They're going to just shoot at your guys on the roof from afar and kill you anyways, so yeah, so this is what I observed from this short testing. Well, not really short, but from this testing. The bug seems to exist across different versions of the game, different revisions, because mod and base game is not really the problem. It's just that Dresden sector has this particular weirdness that prevents anybody who is close to you when you're on the roof not be able to hit reliably. But the difficulty level kind of counterbalances by the fact that it increases the chances of hitting you from afar using the automatic weapons. And in increased difficulty level, then you're going to have a lot of these guys with automatic weapons shooting you. So it's not going to really matter in the end.
Target dispatched.
NCTH does seem to affect the automatic weapons so that the amount of, the risk that you place yourself when you're placing your guys on the roof increases.
Now?
And I also think the map editor will reveal more about this particular
Need
sector.
ammunition urgently.
Try to see what really makes it different. I'm not so sure how to use this, so I can't really verify it for myself, but I'm sure there's something different about it that may help iron this thing out. And I think what I found out in the lower difficulty level, like experience level, was that, you know, these guys, I think maybe they have poor weapons more akin to kind of crowd around us at a shorter distance, so they were missing every time and making us very, very in a favorable position due to the bug. So what I plan to do with the LP is that I want to continue on from where I left off at the SAM
You
site,
got my ear.
because I think that this is an isolated case, so I'm not going to see this bug again. But if there's an updated revision that deals with this, that addresses this and fixes this, I play the current tech once again and upload those episodes in a kind of series to try to see whether I can survive it.
One needs ammunition.
One thing I want to try is to use NCTH instead of the original, because I think it does a better job of increasing the risk by making the automatic weapons more lethal, and I think that is a better way of going about it. And if there's any kind of bug like this, NCTH might be able to alleviate this somewhat, so it's kind of a compromise I'm making. I want to continue on with the LP, I don't want to start again, because it seems to be that I cannot really find a version or revision of the mod that addresses this particular bug, but I want to use NCTH to make sure that you know, if there is a bug once again, I face this kind of a situation that is not going to affect me as much, or the outcome. Alright, so this is a short reporting thing that I did. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And of course, any other suggestions or advice would be very welcome. And yeah, until next time I return with Jagged 2, please stay tuned.